Jack is in the house. We've got a man here. I resent that no one liked me when I was fat. It's a shame that we have to lose weight to earn love. Well, resentment on your part is, I am sure, Jack, you have met women you have not been attracted to for whatever reason that has nothing to do with looks. So I understand that the shame, you might have felt, but to resent someone for not liking you, everybody's entitled to their own choice, Now, being overweight, a lot of people don't want to date people that are overweight because it's a health concern and they don't want to invest in someone who doesn't invest in their health, So now, but then again, to lose weight, if you're losing weight to be attractive to the opposite sex, then are you really doing it for your own regard? And you go on to say, Jack comes on to say, why should I date when porn is free? Well, if masturbation satisfies you, then you don't have to date whatsoever. The question is, do you want to build a life with someone? Do you want to have physical intimacy outside of your left or right hand? Left or right hand. I get that. And porn is actually stimulate. By the way, men who are addicted to porn oftentimes can't have physical intimacy with a woman because they are so used to a gorilla grip to get themselves off. Again, I invite you to really examine your life at a deeper level because you carry resentment and you believe porn is a substitute. And if that's what you choose, listen, if you want to have resentment, there's nothing wrong with that. You're entitled to that emotion. If you want to masturbate, as your way for physical pleasure, there's nothing wrong with that. And you go on to say masturbation is better than a bad relationship. Most relationships are bad. Then you can go your own way. You can do whatever you want. I'm kind of curious why you're on my channel right now. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want, Jack? Like, do you want a woman in your life? Is that something you want? Then what are you going to do to cultivate that? Like, that's my invitation for you, Jack. If you want a woman in your life, what are you going to do to cultivate that for yourself? By the way, Jack, why don't you join me on the love seat right now, the hot seat in your case, and let's have a conversation. Are you willing to be brave enough to talk to everybody right now? I'm willing to talk to you about this. I just posted a link right there. I mean, and by the way, porn gets old. I mean, well, actually, to some degree, there's so much variety, but I believe there's more to life than just a solo journey. I believe we cultivate a more enriching life when we engage with other people. I mean, I recognize you're doing life in solitude. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm here to invite you to look at this differently. Look at Terry says, yes, Jack. In other words, why don't you jump on? Girl says, how would he know that most relationships are bad when he just admitted that he hasn't been picked? That's a good point. That's a good point. Like, how do you know that they're bad? You're probably consuming a lot of content in the YouTube universe that is always pointing the problem at women. And I get it. You can have a belief system that the problem is women, but I invite you to look inward and ask yourself, what do you really want? And when you operate from a place of resentment and self-pleasure, you're not, I'm just suggesting to you, there's more enrichment to life than just operating that way. Terry says exactly. Victoria wants to come on and say, sounds like Jack needs some healing from the past. I would venture to say that's true. Jack, why don't you join the love seat right now? Why don't we have a little conversation about this, okay? Are you willing to put yourself on the line here and say, I am ready to maybe have a shift in perspective? That's all I'm here to help people do, is have a shift in perspective. Listen, there's nothing easy about the dating marketplace. Look, I get it. It can be very disappointing to feel rejected because of our weight. I'm going to tell you something. Women have that same concern. In fact, body image issues tends to be one of the greatest issues women face today, particularly at midlife, that tends to be one of the biggest blocks to love. So I understand where you're coming from, but I also think it's time to heal that, Jack. I think it's time to go, you know what? I'm going to move past this. I'm going to move past this. And I'm going to make a note here. And I'm inviting you to do that, Jack. I'm inviting you to do inner work to say, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. Just sitting in front of masturbating on the small screen. I'm inviting you to say, because by the way, physical intimacy with a woman is so awesome, It really is. It's a lot more fun than your left or right hand. Anyway, that's my opinion, Jack. And if you jump on the screen, we can talk about that as well. Folks, how did you feel about what I just shared with Jack? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Did that resonate with you, what I just shared? If it did, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. And again, if you want to connect with me, schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. And coming back to what Victoria said, it sounds like Jack needs some healing from the past. I would agree. And I want to finish this one more thought with you, Jack, is that it's difficult to look inward. It's difficult to look inward. It is so much easier to blame everyone else instead of looking in the mirror. But I'm going to tell you something. When you look in the mirror deeply and say, I can change my life, I can change my life, you're going to begin to operate with hopefully more success. Okay? Thanks, Jack. We appreciate you. All right. Let's see. KT asked me a personal question. Would you go on a healing month-long retreat to completely get off social media and apps? You know, I vacillate between going off to a retreat. I vacillate between that. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to do it, and there's a part of me that's afraid. I can't tell you why I'm afraid. I don't know. You know, I'm doing a 4-day I'm going camping next week for 4 days. I'm going to detox from social media and stuff like that. I'm going to a 4-day spiritual retreat. I just don't know if I'll do a month. But who knows? That might be in the forecast for me as well. Michelle wants to tell Jack, turn around your attitude, you'll get the ladies. If you want us, and she says, LOL. But to some degree, our attitude makes a big difference. So in that case, Jack, I would agree with what she has to say. Okay. Rhonda wants to come in and say, hello, Jack. Self-healing is crucial to loving yourself and opening yourself up to receiving love, the love you deserve. Yeah. Self-healing is crucial to loving yourself and opening yourself up to receiving love, the love you deserve. Yeah, I mean, you know, I can only imagine how difficult, you know, like I would want to examine what caused you to put the weight on to begin with, to examine what put the weight on to begin with. And then examine what was your motivation to losing the weight. But to resent women for, listen, human beings are radically judgmental. I mean, and I guarantee you, Jack, you've been judgmental to women too. You've already got a judgment, an attitude towards women as it is. So if you can't examine that part of yourself, then all you're doing is shedding the blame, to someone else. I hope you're finding value in this. I hope you go look in the mirror and say, I can change my life, not from a egoic point of view that the YouTube universe is selling you, the Andrew Tates of the world that are selling you. Because I will tell you this, I mean, go to a therapist, go to a counselor, go to a coach, go to a retreat center, do some inner work, because you might find that you'll have more joy in your life if you do that. Okay. Is this sinking in, everybody? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what I just shared with Jack. post a comment below. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if you want to connect with me directly, there's links below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. There's a link to join my group called Midlife Love Mastery, where you can have regular access to me on a regular basis. You can join my group called I'm repeating myself. Get my dating vows, all the books I recommend listed below. All right, I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Barrag of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love, if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. I want to thank Rhonda and G, and I want to thank Jack, and I want to thank Terry, and I want to thank Papa Tatia and Victoria and KT and everybody who joined in today. I really do appreciate you all. Wishing you all a super duper wonderful day. Be well. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.